There are some games that when I sit down to record, I'm going, alright, I get to play this. And then there's Super Pitfall. I'm certain I've played worse games at this point, but when I look at Super Pitfall, none of them come to mind. It's definitely the worst thing from Micronics so far. Super Pitfall is directly derived from Pitfall 2. It shares the same enemies, some of the same obstacles, and the same goals as that game. Your goal in Super Pitfall is to rescue your niece, recover your cat, locate a giant diamond, and then make your way back to the starting point. You'll have to locate them within a vast cavern complex that extends deep underground and stretches far and wide. I have to give Super Pitfall credit on one thing. It is very ambitious. The game features a vast, continuous world. Of course, that might be why there's 5 seconds of loading every time you hit start or die. Everything else in this game, however, total disaster. Let's start with one of the more obscure ones, the graphics. Take a good look at Pitfall Harry here. See how he jumps? Does it feel kind of familiar to you? There's no proof, but it's a common theory among Famicom fans in Japan that Micronics stole and reworked the Super Mario sprite. Of course, the movement for it feels completely wrong. You might notice that the jumping movement's a little bit strange. That's because you can double jump in this game. Kind of. People are pretty sure it's a bug that got left in, but you can hit the A button a second time just after you've left the ground to get a little bit extra height. And oh, those bugs. Like how you can just walk through walls if you push against them long enough. Or how sometimes you'll just drop off a ladder for no reason. The manual actually tells you that that will happen. And have I mentioned the hit detection problems? No, the things that have trouble with hit detection are the items that you'd pick up. It feels like there's just one pixel for you and for the item, and those have to overlap in order to get it. Get ready to jump around a lot and not really be able to collect anything. One of the more infamous aspects of Super Pitfall is that a lot of what you need to get is invisible. These things with playing card symbols on them are keys. They're invisible unless you jump in the right spot. Not to mention this warp that takes you to the other half of the map, presumably because they couldn't hold the entire map in memory. The game is amazingly lethal. There are tons of places where you'll just go down a path and suddenly die. Guess you should have known about that falling ceiling or how the ladder dropped you into a pit of spikes before you started that. I hope you didn't use that unique key in the wrong keyhole, although I guess you could always just walk through the wall if you did. At least when you get a game over, you can continue. When you return to the title screen, press the A button 3 times, and then hit select twice, and you'll go down to a third hidden option that is continue. You do have a gun to protect yourself from enemies, but most of them crawl along the ground, so the gun goes over their head, and you can't fire while crouched. You also only have 20 bullets, and extra bullets are incredibly rare. So you might be able to shoot that enemy out of the way, but it's probably a bad idea to rely on it. And then when you get to the area where it feels like the gun should be most useful, the gun doesn't have any effect on the enemies there. The most interesting thing about Super Pitfall is that 30 years later, somebody fixed it. A ROM hacker going by Ness Rocks rebuilt the game, updated the graphics, fixed all the bugs, corrected the level design, basically put in all the work to make this game playable. The original release, however, is a nightmare game. Super Pitfall's bug-ridden, its gameplay is built on obscurity, and even if it wasn't, it just feels terrible to play. Maybe the most damning statement about the game is how there's a contest in the manual, where if you beat the game and have a score over 1.5 million points, you could take a photograph of the screen and send it in for a card that recognized your achievement. As far as I can tell, no cards were distributed. From what I'm told, you only had a couple of seconds to take a picture of that message before it vanished from the screen. One last twist of the knife from Super Pitfall.